Hi there. Welcome to the Pivot Simply podcast. Today we have Elisa from US. She's joining from US. She helps creatives, entrepreneurs in finding clarity, confidence, and purpose in their personal lives and in their business. How are you doing, Elisa?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So it's a pleasure to have you here, and it's a topic which we have been planning to cover to help others in gaining confidence, clarity, and confidence in their life. So I'm really excited to have you today.
Good.
So yeah, looking forward to our discussion.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, actually.
Yeah, thank you. Great. So Elsa, you mentioned you live in USA and you moved from Italy. So this is pretty much about your own life journey. A lot of women and even like men, when they go through this transitional journey, when you go through one transition of your life to another. So in your case, it's a major transition. I would like to know about your life journey. What compelled you to start something great which you are doing right now, and how's this transitional phase has been for you? So if you would like to share, please.
Sure. So you're asking me specifically about my move to the US, right? If I understand correctly, that was your question, right?
Yeah, so in my case, like I would give an idea, like I mentioned, I come from India, and I was working as an engineer. So there is a transitional journey I went through when I became mother. I did a transition, and I felt that this coaching, personal development coaching, business coaching, this is something which is like my calling. And that is when I actually moved from my engineering career to sabbatical to this. I realized that this is what I need to be doing it. Uh, so when I was listening to you and you mentioned about moving to US from Italy, there is a cultural change. There is
Oh, yeah.
there's a transitional journey you went through,
Yeah.
and now you are doing something, uh, you know, uh, like helping others to seek confidence and clarity. And I see this in many women entrepreneurs. It's actually related to their life experience. So we would like to know from you, how has it been, how did it start? So if you would like to share about
Yeah.
your life journey, what really motivated you, what inspired you, what made you think that you need to be helping others with these
Yeah.
challenges?
Yes. Okay. Well, yes, everything started when I was still in Italy, actually, because I had been doing mostly, I have been dedicating my earlier years to theater, to music, and of course, I had a series of jobs, I would say, but nothing that I would really feel like this is the place where I should be. So I have kind of been looking for my purpose and my place since I was very young. And that's also when I started basically exploring all the different metaphysical and philosophical approach to life, right? From astrology to Reiki to tarot cards, you name it. I am a long life student and I like to explore and know more. And everything kind of pivoted when I basically, had a harsh experience in my life where everything kind of came to an end, but a little bit like collapsing. So, my musical project stopped, my relationship that I had at the time, the job that I had, it was like everything kind of collapsed on itself. And of course, in the moment, I didn't know, it was very painful. And I went through what I call a dark night of the soul. So, something that really, really has the impact to awaken you very deeply. And it was at that point that I realized that there was something else calling me and that everything had happened because I needed this change of pace. And so a little bit after that, I basically met my husband. I got pregnant, and I started exploring more of, what am I here to do? Because at that point I was a little more mature, and I was definitely looking for a definite answer. And like everything just kept on going back to the fact that since I was very young, people would come to me and ask for advice, whether I knew them, so friends and colleagues, or people that I even met on the street. So I realized that I really like felt the happiest when I had the chance to encourage people, to motivate people, to even help them sometimes see their own beauty and their own gifts that they could not see. And so, like when you kind of go back and you start to put pieces one after the other, and I was like, that's got to be it. And so I decided to take that journey that actually turned into a self-healing journey, a pretty deep and long one. And in the meanwhile, I actually moved to the US. Yes. So this is basically how everything started and what guided me.
Oh, thanks for sharing this. I didn't know this part actually. I knew about you moving from one country to another, and there was a career shift you had. It feels to me as if you were like kind of guided to move on this path, and I see this common pattern among coaches. They have become coaches, they have gone through a journey, and deeper your wisdom is, it shows, and the guidance you speak from, it shows the kind of healing process you have gone through, like the kind of life experiences, like you said, those deep experiences you've gone through to gain those insights from universe, from your own life.
Yes. Yeah.
So thanks for sharing this. Elisa, this is my next question. Actually, a lot of people, like in your case, you were guided by your own intuitions. There's a reason people were coming up to you for some solutions which they felt inclined to, and why I'm saying this, because I can relate to a lot of it in my own life. When I used to tell my husband, actually, I don't know why, but there are people that come to me with their life problems. And that time I was like working, I was a mother, and a lot of moms would come, and it's not that we were like very close friends, but they would choose. So now I have the answers. That time I didn't. So I would like to ask this question for our audience. How would you help others to tap into their intuition so that they can navigate their path, so that they can elevate their personal development journey? A lot of people, they're feeling stuck where they are seeking clarity. How would you help them, if you can please share it?
Yes. So this is an important question, and it has a lot of possible answers. I would say on one end, this is part of something that I do. So in my work, I specifically help people to shed those limiting beliefs, those ideas about themselves that are blocking them from really knowing who they are and what they want, and which basically translate into listening right deeply. And I think that is the number one key, listening. If anybody that is curious maybe about how do I access my intuition, and thinks that it's, I don't know, like a difficult process or something that only some people can do, this is not true. Like we are guided more than we realize. And if I had to suggest anything to start with, I would definitely say to work on your own awareness. So being aware of how you think and how you feel, and from there to take time to listen to yourself deeply. Some people, can do it with meditation easily. Some people can do it maybe when they walk on the beach or in the woods. It's really just making the time in a consistent way to tune in. And I think that is especially challenging because we are surrounded by so many demands with all the technology, right? And all the things and beings that, come up everywhere around us. And it is really a commitment. But it's easier, I think, than maybe one can think that it is.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, like you mentioned about the first step is actually listening, you mentioned. And this is one of the most difficult things for many people, having that awareness and active listening in any conversations. So I would like to know the importance of this. So let's discuss on this, like why active listening is so important, and having empathy, not just about in coaching, in general, to build to build better relationships, to build that connect with others. So how would you what would you suggest, like when it comes to active listening and empathy, what's their role? Because this is like, it's connected to building relationships, that human connect with others, and this is what it's missing. So would you like to share your insights on this, please?
Sure. Yes, I think that this is such an important topic, and it's true, whether it's the relationship that we have with ourselves or the relationship that we have with our kids, or, even if they're grown kids, it's still the same. And of course, with the other people in our lives. And the active listening, it's really just, I would say, making the, so to speak, effort or the intention, it's a word that I like better, to really have the intention to, be present with the person. So the way that the person is talking to you, what they're saying, and when you begin to listen more, you will begin to notice or perceive the energy of the other person, right? Or maybe the mood. And some people, like I and you as well, right? Like it kind of comes natural. Maybe those, empathy for some people is really like the main feature. Like we relate with being empaths, and it can be a little challenging until you know how to, use your energy and have good boundaries. But it is also a very big gift. And I don't think that anybody that is not or doesn't identify with being an empath means that they cannot, be empathetic with other people. It's pretty much really just being able to put yourself in other people's shoes, because that is usually the thing that can shift anything. Maybe when we are upset with someone, or when we feel like criticizing someone, sometimes all it takes is just to think, well, how would I feel if I was in this person's situation, right? And I believe that with that kind of attitude, between the listening and the recognizing the values maybe that the other person carries, that can definitely make our relationships better at that point. See what I mean?
Yeah. Interesting. Like like you mentioned about empathy and being an empath. Like these two terms are actually it sounds similar, but like there are people, they are very good in maintaining their personal boundaries. Whereas there are people, like for example, for a very long time, I did not know that I'm an empath. Why do I get affected with others' energy? I didn't know this. That wisdom came along with my own journey. So knowing your own personal boundaries, protecting your energy, protecting your aura. So for some people it's very natural, like you said, for you it's very natural that you can feel, sense, and for that it's very important when you are communicating with somebody else that you need to be actively observing, listening, that because many times what happens is people are actually present, but they're talking to themselves. It's like you're talking to yourself, you're not even listening, like the person is not even listening what the other person is trying to speak, so they are making their own meanings.
Yes. Yeah.
So for empath, like coming to empath, like people who struggle with this, those who get affected with others energy, when they come in contact, many people do not have this awareness that they are empath or what is happening in their body. It's a very deep thing, actually, deep discussion on this. So what do you suggest? Do you like what strategies, tools would you like to share with those people who are listening to this episode, that how can they protect themselves?
Yes, it's true. Like it takes, well, until a certain point, I think that there was not even enough information out there. So you would either basically label yourself or be labeled by others, first of all, as, oh, you're too sensitive. And so you
introvert, like introvert also.
Right? You take that as, oh, there's something wrong with me because I'm sensitive. And then finally, some information came along, and I think that a lot of people, including you and I, finally made sense of, so that's what's happening. I am not wrong. I just work in a different way, right? And I think that the number one thing to do, of course, first of all, you have to assess for yourself if you're, you feel like you're an empath or not. But I think that the number one thing to do at that point is to tell yourself that there's nothing wrong with you, and to gain your power back. Because as you said, other people's energy affect us, and especially when we have like people close to us, friends or significant others, that maybe tells us, oh, you're just too sensitive, or oh, don't take it too seriously. It's very hard for an empath, just because they feel everything all at once. And so getting your power back and saying, okay, there's nothing wrong with me, and now I just have to learn to basically know what is mine and what is not mine, which, once again, it's a listening process, right? And it takes a little time, but it can be done.
Yeah. No, great. Like you mentioned, and this is so empowering when you realize that you are not the problem. If you always you are different in a group, while majority of people might think that she's sensitive, he is sensitive, but then this is a speciality, this is uniqueness, like everyone is unique, but knowing that this is unique, I am different, can really help help us help others in stepping in their power. Like, okay, now I can create something.
Yes. Because otherwise you would just go ahead and in life thinking that I have something wrong and I have to hide it, and instead it can be a superpower. Right?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Elisa. Now, next thing is like you were mentioning about listening. It all comes down to listening. Like even to know that you are an empath, you need to be listening to yourself first. And I would say like building your own awareness. Help. So, how would you suggest or help others with building their own awareness? Like, what are the level of awareness, if you can share, and how would you help others in knowing? Because this awareness word itself is not normal for many. I remember I did one 30 days self-worth upgradation challenge where I was talking about awareness, and somebody said this is a very difficult word for people, and I was like so surprised That
Yes, I am
awareness.
too.
So what is awareness? Like, so how would you help others? Like, if you are helping others, like, it's so important to build your own awareness. And what are the, if you can also share that, what are the level of awareness and what tools and strategies can help them to build their awareness? So what is their
Yes.
starting point and how they can move along in this journey?
Yes, yes, there is definitely a starting point. And I think that each one of us comes here equipped differently, meaning that some of us maybe have, you know, well, I believe in a soul. So, we are a soul having a human experience, right? So when you look at life in this way, you know that each soul, comes with its own gifts, talents, challenges, lessons. And so there are different levels of awareness, that you start from. But I think I like to be practical. And I think that if you strip the idea that awareness is something mystic and you take it down to being able to notice, because this is what it is. If you are aware, it means that you know, that you notice, right? So my healing journey, and the way that I became aware of my awareness, which is a play on words, but it has sense, was that I started to listen to my inner talk. And that, I believe, is number one tool that all of us can use. It's inexpensive because you don't need anything. You can even eventually just use a journal and a pen or your phone to jot down every now and then the negative things that you tell yourself, especially those, just because that helps you to see what's going on. So this is a very important point. And I think that too, that happens, like, for example, when, someone wonders why they're always depressed or always sad, or, they don't feel like they can do things or accomplish things. Many times, the answer starts from listening to what they tell themselves, right? The words that they tell themselves. And so it's really just an exercise in listening within once again. If I had to suggest, actually, this is usually what I do, and tell people that the first place to start from is really just to pay that attention and begin to listen to your thoughts, the kind of thoughts that you are entertaining. And a lot of time, whatever is going on is not very positive, and we don't know that it's going on because we're not actively paying attention, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, really, what you're sharing is powerful, because really knowing that someone is feeling sad, to get that awareness that, like, this is a person and she is feeling sad, she is feeling depressed. First, to know that, because they might be thinking it's normal, but thinking that you can step out of it, you can reframe it, you can come out of these thoughts, that level of awareness, and then finally working towards it, like the tools you have mentioned about journaling and listening to you, or inner self-talk can really help. Thanks for sharing this, Elisa. So I would like to know about how much the personal conditioning is related to that. So when someone is going through a situation, someone is having a certain condition. So what is the relevance of personal conditioning to that? The person is feeling or going through something, the way there is a reason, right? So how would you help someone to navigate through that, like their personal conditioning? Because the idea is that they can really step into their power, not staying in that stuck state. And this is something which you really help others with. So what is the role of their own conditioning? And if you can just share something, like how they can let go of that conditioning?
Yes. Well, I would say that, it's a little bit like thinking about it like a circuit, like something that keeps on running in the same direction, at the same speed. And the idea is to be able to kind of break up that circuit, to interrupt it, and to give it another direction. Okay, so because usually the negative thoughts that we have, like when we and it's not that we always say these things with very clear words within us, but like, if we criticize ourselves, or if we think, oh, I'm not good enough to, I don't know, go ask for a raise, or something like that, that kind of conditioning creates the feelings, right? So those, as when we have like positive and happy thoughts, we feel good. It goes without saying that when we have a lot of negative thoughts and criticism and judgment towards ourselves, that it goes without saying that we create a negative feeling about us.
Right.
And so it's really the moment when we begin to listen, we begin to notice the things that we tell ourselves. Sometimes it's easy enough that we basically just have to redirect, to give a new direction to our thoughts. Some other times when, there are levels of layers and layers of this negative thinking, and maybe they go back to experiences really that basically affected us a lot.
The events, yeah.
That definitely is going to take us a little more time. Just being honest, it would be wonderful if it just took 1 second and say, oh no, wait, I don't want to think this. Now I'm going to tell myself this other thing, which, by the way, do it and, be consistent and see what happens. But sometimes really, like, there are so many layers underneath that thought that it would take a little bit of consistency and moving down and exploring. And so that's when many times we need the help of someone else, right, outside of us, that can see better what is going on, because we are involved in it, and it's very hard to see our blind spots. That's what I mean.
100%. Like it's very hard to see your own blind spots, and if someone even if someone who can't see their blind spots, sometimes it can become a trigger for them. So this is a very this is quite deep. This is interesting about like what the how you have explained about personal conditioning, where it's coming from. Actually, you have really explained it in a very nice way about thoughts, feelings, and experiences we were talking about. How would you like? We hear a lot about higher consciousness, right? We listen to this term. So when you're explaining someone, like you have already explained about the awareness part of it, conditioning part of it, listening, empathy, how can one connect to their higher consciousness? And what is higher consciousness? Like, if let's simplify this, when someone says, this is like quite woo-woo, it's not something normal, but I say it's normal. It's for all. It's not accessible to just few people. It's open for everyone. So how can you help someone? Like, what would you suggest, like, in this? Because, like, let's face it, I think still there's a large section of people, major part of people, they're still doing things unconsciously, really sleepwalking, not knowing what they're doing, how they can, connect to their higher consciousness. And we are talking about here raising human consciousness, and that is where the question is coming from. So can you share some thoughts on this, please?
Yes, this is yet another very important topic. And the first thing actually that I feel that needs to be shared is that it's a process. It's a
Mm,
process, and it doesn't matter, once again, where you start from. As you said, everybody has a consciousness, right? Then we might decide to not listen to it or not believe in it or not open up to it, but it's
mm,
there.
mm,
Um, so I believe that just being willing, or if you that you are listening, you find yourself with the question, like, how do I even get started? You started already. It means that something in you
mm,
has already shifted and is looking for you to push past what you think it's real, or
mm,
like, oh, this is what there is because it's what I can see. Clearly, consciousness,
mm.
you can't see it in a way, but if you think about it, you see it. You see it because what you have around you was created from your level of by your level of consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, we
Mm-hmm.
know, I know, that as we were saying before, like, a lot of negative thoughts that are
Mm,
going to make you feel negative and maybe, discouraged and all the things. And so that feeling is going to create some experiences around you. This is also how consciousness work. And so when you look outside and you see that things aren't in flow, then you know that there your consciousness might not be aligned, with your best possibilities.
mm,
um, and well, the higher consciousness
mm,
um, is just the our deepest wisdom, in my opinion, that we all have, that we can all learn to access.
mm.
Clearly, for some people that is their purpose, and for other people that is their learning. But everyone, anyway, right, they have to work,
Yeah.
because it's like letting go of ages of conditioning around this.
Mm,
We got we have been disempowered over the ages, um in and we don't maybe believe in ourselves, we don't trust ourselves. And so that's where I believe we can, shift things. And well, as someone who, works with intuition um and with energy and with
mm,
spirit as well, in
mhm.
my opinion, it's there. So sometimes, we just need to kind of let go of the position of, if I don't see it, then it's not true, and open up to maybe be surprised, right, by our own wisdom.
Oh, this is so powerful. I mean, I really enjoyed this, what you have shared. So, in many ways, people are, like you said, letting go is so important. And in many ways, people are actually holding on to it and blocking
Mhm.
it themselves. And
Yeah.
like you said, this connecting with your higher consciousness might not be your purpose, but it can be a learning. This is something which I'm definitely taking it away from this. I have a final question here, Elisa, and this is about your work you do. So like you help others finding clarity, confidence and purpose in their personal lives and in their profession, business. How do you do that? Would you like to share what's your process so that they can benefit from your work?
Sure. Thank you for asking that. Well, the work is it has different levels and aspects, but mainly I would say that um, I I connect, right, with the person on a soul level, um, to help them recognize and see, and sometimes also retrieve their own gifts and talents, because many times we are the first one who don't see them, right? Like, we believe that we have no purpose, we have nothing to give,
Yeah.
or the things that come, that we love to do, they have no value. So, but from a soul perspective, that is part of the work that I do. We are really able to assess, what your soul is bringing along and what the main challenges are in carrying those gifts forward. And then I also work on a more practical and conscious level, right? In giving, helping the person with learning tools that she can use, right? Moving forward, she can use for herself, so that, because it's a journey. It's not that you do the work one time and everything is solved forever,
100%.
right? This is so not true. So, and when you have the tools in your hands, then you can definitely move along and, help yourself when you can. And when you can't, you resort to someone who can help you see what you're not seeing. So, I do that. I use the Akashic records, for example. I use sometimes work more on a subconscious level, and then I use coaching tools. So, I do a bit of a combination of things depending on who I'm working with, basically.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for sharing about your work, Elisa. I really enjoyed this whole conversation, and there is so much to gain. And I'm sure people who would be watching this and who are watching this episode, they are already, it's the start of their journey as well. There's a reason they would be watching this, because there's
Absolutely.
a lot of, so there's a lot of, pointers you have shared already for them. So thank you so much. It was nice connecting with you.
Yes, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for asking such thoughtful questions, really, because it gave us the opportunity to, bring up some very, very important topics.
Thank you. So yeah, I was going through your work, what you do, and based on that, questions were designed, and I'm really happy with the questions and answers you have given. So looking forward to have more conversation with you, Elisa, and to connect with you in future. Wish you all the best, and take care of yourself.
Thank you, you too. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye.